everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the RIP Tour podcast. I am your tour guide, Tim. What's up, everybody? How's it going? It's been a little bit. We are back for another episode, and I can't do this by myself. So, Liz, good morning. And I say good morning because I know you probably just woke up. So, how are you?
I don't know about just woke up because,
Right,
I've got to
fair.
get presentable to
true.
be on camera. And,
That's true.
So, yes, but it is morning. It is on a Saturday or Sunday. See, I don't even know what day it is.
Yeah, this is Sunday.
It's Vlogmas. I don't know what I'm
Yes,
talking about
there you
anymore.
go. Awesome. Very cool. And then we have Ash. Ash, how are you, sir? What's going on?
I'm good, Tim. I've been up since about 6 something, so I'm still not woken up. I've got my coffee, but yeah, ready to talk about more things. How are you?
More things. I'm good. The weather has been fantastic this
It's
week.
been wonderful.
It has,
Right?
but I think it's getting up again to the
say it.
70s
Don't
next
say
week,
it.
and I'm not happy about that.
I know.
Me either.
But yeah, it's been great all week wearing hoodies. It's like, oh my God, the other day, I don't know about you guys, but over like on the coast here, so about lunchtime, it started getting cloudy, and I don't think it was supposed to, but it just got gray for the rest of the day, and the wind picked up.
Yeah.
I could not believe how cold it was, like when I walked outside, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, please stay like this.
Is this actual winter? What is
I
happening?
know. Like, I'm actually enjoying
Liz
the
brought a little bit back with her.
I did.
know.
From across the
weather. I know.
pond.
Liz, how was across the pond?
Oh, it was amazing. I'm ready to go back right now. Just pack my bags, go back.
You saw somebody that's not here today because,
Yeah.
he's too busy doing, well.
Probably the barbecue.
Or he's still drinking Guinness from last night.
Yeah.
I got to see the other studio, the UK RIP Tour studio.
That's wild. Like, you sent the picture of you sitting in Gary's seat, and I was just like, wow, that's just so weird.
I got to
right
sit
now.
at Gary's
So
desk.
weird.
We did want to record something for something funny for the
Yeah,
podcast.
yeah.
It didn't happen. We got too busy hanging out and
It happens.
enjoying
That's
each
fair.
other.
Yeah.
So the picture was all we got, but it would have been funny to record something for the podcast sitting
yeah.
at his desk.
Heck yeah. How cold was it over there?
Not too bad. Visiting him was the coldest part of it. It was like highs in the 30s. The next
that's
day though,
cold.
but then the next day it was highs in the 50s. So it wasn't too bad.
English weather, right, Ash?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of missed the fall, but when they can keep winter, let me take the fall.
That's
Yeah,
fair.
we did see some snow. So
Oh, did you?
yeah, up there in
all right.
Newcastle, there was snow.
All right. Excellent. All right. Enough about Newcastle and Gary and whatever he's doing today. Gary, we do miss you. We'll see you next time. So we're basically just going to wrap up the rest of HHN33 in this episode. We're going to talk about, basically the theme of the overall event. We're talking about like the merchandise, food and drink. And then we're going to let Liz loose, and she's going to have an expose on the Dead Coconut Club.
My thesis.
So we'll get to that. So let's just get into it. So theme of the overall event. So,
Which one?
Yeah. This is kind of all over the place this year. So Ash, thoughts. We'll start with you.
Yeah, I think Liz's little one-liner was perfect. Then it was like, which one? When we talked about the duality of fear, scare zone, I did talk about I loved the icons, costuming, makeup. I think looked really good when they were spieling. I know sometimes it could go on a little bit longer, especially if you're a vet and you want to move the event along. But I did talk about how I love that part of it, and I feel like they've wasted sort of two icons because of the theming. We'll get to it, but the tribute store was completely different. We had this Otis thing, which didn't really make sense with the commercials compared to the event as well. I think they could have done a bit more lighting, the sort of red and blue lighting around the park, if they really, leaned into that and had it like really bright. And, as you go into the event, we talked about have two pathways, because it's just common sense, right? Straight, you go down to Torture Fair, right, you go down to Hollywood Boulevard. That's where their two scare zones were. That would have been perfect. Plus, they needed a maze too, in my opinion, as well. But it was just a bit all over the place and too many moving parts. Just far too many.
Agreed. Liz, I'll jump in just real quick here. I agree. That was going to be my biggest point, is I feel like they should have gotten a house. Like, if you're going to go with these two icons and, introduce them, it's great that they're out in the scare zones. and it was cool to actually get to see like when they were actually talking and they were mic'd up, and excellent. But I just feel like we did not get enough of like what their backstory was, what this was. Agreed with Ash with the whole duality of fear and the two paths. Like, you walked into that, I'm going to put it in quotations, scare zone. And honestly, it just, my mic just moved. Sorry there. It just didn't make sense to me. It was a roaming horde of chainsaws, not a scare zone. So I just wish that was like just a little bit better in that sense. But that was going to be my big takeaway with that. Is I feel like they should have gotten a house. I think that if there was a house on top of that with them out in the scare zone, I think maybe it would have tied it in just a little bit better than for the overall event. So what about you, Liz?
Yeah, and then we haven't even touched on, I know we're going to talk about merch, but then we have the whole punk vibe that was in the merch. So that's another theme that didn't connect with everything that was happening. I just feel like there were too many cooks in the kitchen and everyone came up with their idea. And instead of saying, okay, we're going to go with sinister and surreal, that is the theme. They had the punk idea first. So that came with the merch and they somehow tied that in with Slaughter Cinema. And then they also had this Otis idea of like, what if we did this with the gate? And they're like, okay, yeah, let's do that. And then someone said, hey, how about icons? And like, okay, sure, let's add that too. It just felt like they just kept having ideas and piling it on rather than trying to make it cohesive. And I think Otis was a really cool visual, even if we don't love the name Otis for it. The visual was really cool. And I would have liked to see that obviously come to life. Even just as a projection on the front of the gates would have been great to tie in the marketing with what we're seeing. And I agree with everything you said about Sinister and Surreal. They needed more depth to them. As much as it was great to have them in the scare zones spieling and talking to us, they needed a house. They needed more backstory.
Can I just a quick one as well, Tim? Can I jump in real quick?
Yeah, go for it.
So 21, Liz, right? One of the best events we've ever had, right? Mm-hmm. Lady Luck gets so much flack because she had no house, no real sort of presence. She had a scare zone that was down an alleyway. So if you're going to that event not knowing much about the event, you're not really picking that up. That this person is the overall theme behind the event. That's where I feel like it's lacking. And Tim said needed a maze, right? They needed a house. Mm-hmm. They needed a maze. Just to kind of tie it all together. I even forgot about the punk thing you just brought up, Liz, because there's so many themes going on. But yeah, sorry, Tim.
And I think Lady Luck is a good callback because Lady Luck was another icon that was added on last minute, which is why she didn't have a house, which is why she was just thrown in Sting Alley because it was a last minute marketing addition, or maybe not last minute, but it was a late marketing addition. So they rewrote the house's backstories to include her. But that's why she just had a scare zone. And I feel like that was a similar thing this year. But Lady Luck was just executed far better.
Yeah. Question for you both. Do you think we get a house next year?
No.
For them? No.
Maybe not. Not next year, but maybe sometime in the future.
Okay. That's fair. Fair. And then somebody is returning to HHN next year, which we'll kind of get into a little bit later as well. So. Who could maybe possibly bring the event back to way it should be.
Oh, okay. Now I'm with you.
I was thinking like an icon.
All right, let's just.
You
know what? We'll just get into it. So Mike Aiello is returning to help with HHN next year. So I guess maybe my question to you guys: do you think? And I'm not calling him the savior, but he obviously knows what is going on and has been doing it for so long. Before he went over to Epic to take care of whatever he's taking care of over there. But do you think with the return of Mr. Aiello for next year, do you think we see a much improved event from this year? Maybe even the year before as well. What do you guys think?
I mean, personally, I'm glad to have him back because I think he's a big piece of the soul of the event. I think he brings a lot of heart and a lot of story and experience to the event. So I think he will absolutely help with the cohesion. So I don't know how much day to day he's doing at this point. We don't know, but I could see him being that person that sees the overall picture and sees, okay, we need these things to make sense together, and just kind of makes it all work.
100%. Ash, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, if we're going to be totally honest, I mean, these, let's just do the last, since 30, right? Let's just take since 30. Like, the way these houses look are just phenomenal. Like you can't question the sort of like art and design and creative, what, you know, in terms of what they create, but there's just something missing. There's sort of like a spark missing. And I don't like to harp on about, you know, Michaelo's OG HHN, so we'll get it, but there is something to what Lizz says, you know, he's definitely in touch with that sort of side of it. You know, he's been here since Fright Nights, you know, not as a scare actor and in that capacity, but he was a guest at Fright Night, so he's been through it all, so he gets it and he gets the evolution. But there's just something missing from the event the last 3 years that I hope they can recapture, and it's a good start.
Yeah, agreed. Welcome back, Mr. Aiello. We're very excited for next year. So, all right, on to other things. Sorry, I totally forgot he was coming back. All right, so Lizz kind of mentioned the merchandise. So, Lizz, you're wearing the punk.
The preview, one of the preview shirts.
Yeah, so very confusing because basically that is just basically one of the characters from Slaughter Cinema 2.
Yeah, just the vibe that they went for all the preview merch.
Yeah, just wild.
Yeah, and Hollywood had a scare zone for it. So
oh yeah.
I think maybe this is just a synergy between Hollywood and Orlando. Like, hey, we're gonna have this scare zone. This is kind of cool imagery. Play with that.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they created the scene in Slaughter Cinema to kind of tie it all together. I don't know, but
right.
It's an odd one.
Very, very. Ash, thoughts?
Yeah, that's exactly it now. Just think of all the merchandise now, especially the preview stuff. It says Halloween Horror Nights 2024. I forget his name. I do apologize. I forget his name. He's now in art and design for the creative side for Halloween Horror Nights. I forget his name. He did the Screamers this year, but he posted something about getting to work on art for Halloween Horror Nights 2025. Not Halloween Horror Nights 34, Halloween Horror Nights 2025. So we are going to see this sort of synergy with Hollywood now. You know, we're going to see joint merch. We're going to see joint themes, joint ideas. Even look at the Studio Screamers. You know, there was 2 in there that we'd never seen before. It's from the Hollywood side, you know. So expect merchandise where we're like, what? This makes no sense, because it might be Hollywood-centric as opposed to us. But, yeah, this made no sense to me, because it wasn't just this, it was the sort of decor. In like the Five and Dime, for example, the decor around it was all this sort of grunge, sort of late 80s, early 90s, sort of pop punk, whatever it may be. But yeah, we'll come up with a different merch, but very, very strange. Very strange.
Quick question before we move on with more of the merchandise and stuff. And I'm pretty sure I know the answer from both of you. But do you think that Orlando and Hollywood should basically just keep themselves separate and not have dual coast action going on, whether it's scare zones and houses and that kind of thing? So, thoughts, Ash?
Yeah, I would love to keep it separate, completely separate, you know, because right now we used to have sort of both coasts sharing an IP. Now it's very, very heavy in terms of what they share. You know, they took Scarecrow, we took Monstros. I expect more of that coming as well. Now, I've never been out to Hollywood, but if I was to go, I would love to keep it just their event, so I get to see something completely different. But, yeah, give me my numbered events back. I don't want Halloween Horror Nights 2024. I don't want Halloween Horror Nights 2025. I know the pandemic messed it up because it was perfectly aligned. Those years were perfectly aligned, but
It was.
Yeah.
and it was the year of my birthday too. So whenever it was like Halloween Horror Nights 13, I was 13 that year. I turned 14. Like, and it was just perfectly aligned for me, for the years it fell on. Let's go back to that. Hollywood, you do you. Orlando, we'll do us. So yeah.
Nice. Liz, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it makes sense to share IPs just doing contract wise. Like, I understand sharing on both coasts, But I think at least for the merch and the theme, just let our teams do their own thing, because what works for Orlando isn't going to necessarily work for Hollywood. They're two very different events with different audiences and different fan bases. And I understand company synergy. It just makes it easier to have less people working on things. But as a fan, I would love to see it separated.
Agreed. So I am in agreement with both of you. I think Hollywood and Orlando should be two totally different, separate events. And just like Liz said, if you're going to share the IPs, which I'm honestly okay with that. Make the merch and whatever else specific to each coast. Don't make them the same, because something could be just way off Orlando or way off out in Hollywood. So, just thoughts. Are you listening, Mr. Aiello? Are you listening? All right. Anything else about merchandise? Were there any favorites for you guys? Did you guys get anything? I don't think I bought one thing this year except for just like food and stuff.
Wow. I know Ash has an entire collection of Lil Boo at his house somewhere. Just
yeah.
You know what I did get
every
though?
single piece.
I got the shoulder pal, 80%
No,
off.
you did not.
I swear I got the shoulder pal. It was you know, when everything was like, it was 80% off for real, and I got it for like $6 or something after the event. I was just lucky and fortunate I was there. But
so
favorite
why?
merch, Tim? No. Well,
why did you buy it?
For the kids.
Just so you all know, that is Ash's reason for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Oh, it's for the kids. It's for the kids.
It's on my display over there, but it's for the
Everything
kids.
behind him is for the kids.
Yeah, but in terms of a favorite merch, no.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah, the Blumhouse shirt, even though it was one of my least favorite scare zones, the Blumhouse shirt was really cool. That's about it. That's all I got.
I will agree. The Blumhouse shirt was pretty kind of cool. So,
Yeah.
all right, Liz, what about you?
I think the house shirt grew on me with the punk. Again, here's another thing where the house shirt had the punk guy on it. Why, I don't know. But that grew on me, having the patches on his leather jacket. This ended up being my favorite shirt of the entire event, the just preview punk shirt, I think, with the little bit of tie-dye feel to it. But I bought a decent amount when it went on sale. I got the Dead Coconut shirt, of course. I got the Insidious shirt, but not as much as I normally buy. And I did not, as far as I can recall, buy a single piece of Lil Boo merch. So I stood my ground.
Good job, Liz. Good job.
Thank you.
I think the only shirt I probably regret not getting was the Mel's die-in.
Oh, I did get that.
I got that too.
Yeah,
And
that's
the
honestly,
sign
that's
behind
probably
me.
the only thing that I regret not buying, and I should have ended up buying that.
The Mel's Die-In whole line was by far the most popular item this year.
By far.
Everyone was wearing opening weekend. It was just a sea of Mel's Die-In shirts.
Like
So
the Buc-ee's shirts.
Absolutely.
whoever finally decided we should do that officially, props to them, because they made a lot of money off those shirts this year.
For sure. All right, so continuing with merchandise, now we're going to head to the tribute store. Okay, let's just go. Liz, thoughts on the tribute store? I know.
So this is another just real confusing one this year. This facade, which started off as the shipping container, and then they added the scaffolding, and we saw the artwork that it was always supposed to have the scaffolding. And then the next day, the scaffolding was gone and never returned. So we assume that some powers that be, decided someone's going to try to climb that, and they had to tear it down. So then the whole rest of the event, we just had that shipping container with the graffiti on it, which made absolutely no sense with the scare zone that was all around it, which was Torture Fair. And not to say that the tribute store and the scare zone that's there usually mesh, but there was just something extra disconnected about having this punk subway tribute store in the middle of Torture Fair.
Just say it. It was an eyesore.
Like,
honestly, like you're not looking at a graffiti, like,
just a shipping container.
While you're trying to attend a Renaissance fair.
And it didn't make, props to them for trying something different. But when you have to put arrows to your store because it blocked the doorway and people didn't know how to get in, that was not the winner this year on ideas. And then I think we all got a little tripped up. The museum this year was just every time anything had to do with the museum, we all got our hopes up too high because they were doing those hints in the Mummy store. And so we thought we were going to have more of the museum, and it ended up being like the subway, the sewers underneath the subway, the loading docks, and nothing to do with the museum. We were underneath the museum, apparently.
Yeah, wild. Ash?
But
I'm sorry, Liz.
But Batilda.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. I will say in the tribute store, I kind of enjoyed, so there's the long hallway, like from the first few rooms and then into the last couple rooms. I did enjoy the graffiti in there. You know, there were some sayings that were written on there from like previous, events.
Some Easter eggs.
Yeah, some Easter eggs that were kind of cool. The RIP tour was graffitied all over in there, which was nice. Thank you. We appreciate that.
It was absolutely about us, 100%.
Just fun stuff. A little Slimer on the wall. I enjoyed that. That was kind of cool. So, Ash, thoughts about the tribute store?
Yeah, I think the tribute store was just like an indictment of the entire event, really, just an absolute mess. A shipping container with tribute store written on there with arrows, how to get into it. Just an absolute mess when you're next to a Renaissance fair. What they're trying to do now is they're doing so many Easter eggs and so many like high level sort of, I can't find the words I'm looking for, but there's so many Easter eggs that it's just going way above regular people's heads, even vets' heads. There's just so, like, all the newspaper clippings. And then we had the Batilda thing, their 25th theme of the event. Like, where does that come from? It just makes zero sense to me. And like Liz mentioned, we had the Sahara Traders that had a little bit for the museum stuff in there. Like, what was that about? That made no sense. The tribute store as like an extension to it. It was fine to walk through. Probably one of the worst ones they've done, but just I don't want to keep going on because I could be here, but just a mess.
Ash is just here. He'll be here all day.
With you. Do you not think though they're going too sort of? What word am I looking for? Not Easter eggy. Like they're going way
too meta.
Way too Let the like. They've just done a new All Hallows, the boutique, right? They've just put a bunch of Psychoscarapy Home for the Holidays, Blood and Guts, art and design people. Just stop touching it. Just let Universal Creative kind of touch that. If it's going to be lore that's coming back, just stop. Sorry, Tim. Sorry.
It's all good, Ash. Just you go, my guy. You go. Do you think any of that's in the little boutique is foreshadowing for next year at all?
I haven't had a chance to really look through it yet. I'm going to see it in person, so I've been avoiding looking at too much.
Okay, that's fair. Could be. We'll see. I don't know. But, I'd be okay for it because that means we'd finally get like some kind of holidays.
Yeah, we want that.
Maze or something or Scare Zone or something. Anything. I mean, we've been talking about this for so long. We want that, even though that was a West Coast thing. Bring it on over. We'd like to, let's have Orlando have their shot at it and their interpretation. All right. Anything else on merchandise and tribute store before we move on?
Nope.
But the tribute store was dystopian, right? Where was the dystopian in the? It was just a different theme, I guess, right? Like a theme they were going for.
Well, I mean, I guess
it was the story of Batilda. They just say
if there's graffiti all over, it's kind of run down. I don't know. Maybe they're pushing. I don't know. I'm just trying to help you, Ash. I don't know
story.
Either. All right, moving on. So let's talk about food and drink from the event. I know we've talked about this, somewhat. I'm trying to see if I can pull up the guide. So Liz, I'm just going to send it to you. Thoughts, food and drink for this year?
I think I tried more food this year than I have ever before, probably because I was there as many nights as I was. I was there a lot. So I think overall, not my favorite year for food. I have some highlights, but there wasn't just this absolute star like previous years, like the jalapeno popper grilled cheese or
I missed that.
The rat tails. There wasn't anything that I was just absolute ride or die for like that. But I had some favorites. I really liked the walking taco. I mean, that's just bring that back every year. Walking taco is fantastic. The surprise for me this year was the bloody goodie bag. I think I ordered that more than anything else. Also really funny that by the end of the event, it actually came in a bloody bag. I think that was probably the intention all along, and then shipping just took too long. But that was probably my two favorite items. And then, of course, you have to get the Stay Puffed marshmallow s'more, even though it was a little disappointing, even though it could have been hotter and meltier.
Yeah.
You had to do it for the gram.
I mean, at least it wasn't cold like it was out west.
I don't know. Mine was pretty chilly.
I heard so many complaints about that. I was like, oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you. The walking taco, bring that back every year because it is just so delicious. I enjoyed the burger. I know it's just a burger, but it honestly was pretty solid.
I did too.
I enjoyed that. But yeah, I missed the jalapeno popper grilled cheese. I missed the chicken offals.
Oh yeah,
those were fantastic. But
another surprising one that seemed like a monstrosity, but actually tasted pretty good was the campfire dog. I think it was called. They had the nacho cheese, the Cheetos,
the Cheetos and the beans.
The baked beans.
Yeah.
It sounded terrible and looked questionable, but it actually worked. It actually tasted pretty darn good.
I missed it.
That's what I've heard. So, Ash, thoughts about food and drink?
Yeah, I mean, there was a couple of nights where I just said to myself, right, I'm going to get some food, drink, and just, do those things. Because towards the end of the event, I was just doing Insidious and leaving. So I didn't really have time to do much then. But you've touched on both of them my two favorites were the bloody goodie bag. It just tastes like salt and pepper chips with like chicken in it. Beautiful. Love that. The say cheeseburger, Tim, you said was really good. I know you said just a cheeseburger, but I agree. But there was something about it. And I also really like from the Goblin's Feast, it was called the Harissa, the barbecue turkey wing.
Yeah.
It was. I mean, it was like $6 or $7. It was a decent portion, and that was good. I don't know if you're going to come on to drinks too, but I did try the cursed cranberry too. Do you know their can for this year?
Really pretty can.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really go for like the drinks because they're just they're just too sweet for me usually. But I will say Whole Hog Pumpkin Ale this year was fantastic.
Yeah, I had one too. It was good.
So, I did not get to try the cranberry. What was it?
The cursed cranberry.
Yeah,
cranberry vodka.
Yeah, I didn't get to try that though. But usually if I'm getting a drink there anyway, it's usually just some kind of regular cocktail. Not just one of their specialties. So. Liz, anything for you stand out or was awful for that matter, drink wise?
I don't really do the drinks either.
Okay.
To me, they're just. But I did get my favorite mocktail was the Creepy Cola because they gave you gummy worms in it, which was really fun. So yeah, the Creepy Cola was my standout. Also, I forgot to mention the Rotten Pumpkin. That was my favorite dessert.
Remind me what that one was.
It was from the Today Show Cafe. And it was a chocolate covered pumpkin mousse. It was delicious.
Oh. Yeah, it sounds delicious.
There was two desserts I didn't want to try. I didn't. The bride cake I wanted to try.
Disappointing.
And the Twilight Tavern. Yeah, it was okay. And then the eclair from the Insidious.
I heard that was good.
It was spicy.
Oh, it was?
It's like Mexican chocolate. It's got spice to it.
Yep.
Yeah, and I really, really want them to bring salt and vinegar twisted taters back.
Oh, but they every year.
Again.
And obviously, you guys know because I don't know why it took me so long, but I finally had my first twisted tater this year.
That was your first one?
That's crazy.
Very first one. Yeah, it's a potato. You know what I mean?
I was there for it. I didn't realize that was your first one.
Yeah, that was my first one.
Celebrated.
That's why me and Paul were like taking pictures and cheersing.
No,
I owed him. But in the same sense, he's like, yeah, let's do it because this is your first one, whatever. So, but yeah, I mean, it was good. It was solid.
I understand what you're saying. It's just like you get to the end of it and you think, oh,
but it's
$10.
like, yeah, I mean, you're paying $10 for a fried potato. Like that's nuts. So, I mean, it was good. It was delicious. Don't get me wrong.
It's all the seasoning. It's the seasoning,
Exactly. Don't they do or I don't know if they still do it or they used to because I remember everybody talking about it. Like people would ask for because where they shake it, all of it, like whatever flavor you're getting. Mixes into the bottom, and then people would like, "Can I have that on the twisted tater?"
Yeah, that's a thing,
right?
I'm sure they could. Yeah,
I thought that was a thing. Anyway, all right. Well, before we move on to Lizz's expose, do we have any last thoughts about merchandise, tribute store, food, drink, any of that kind of stuff? Anything we've missed?
Nothing's jumping out at me at the moment.
Okay. And do we want to save Dead Coconut or and go to resorts first, or do we want to do
Yeah,
Dead
do
Coconut?
resorts first.
Sure.
I feel like Dead Coconut would be the good
Grand
thing
finale.
to
I like
yeah,
it.
because
It was the best part of the event. So
we
it
really
makes
were very
sense.
happy with that this year. So just a rundown. The resorts had some photo ops, some theming going on this year. So I'm just going to kind of go down. I'm just going to kind of list whether you guys want to talk about it after I just say each one. We could do that. So the first one was at Aventura. So we had this is right up Liz's alley. So we had the aliens. So the Beam Me Up photo op. Suitcase was set at 666. The aliens were at the top of the bar. Obviously, there's themed drinks and all that kind of stuff. Liz, this is right up your alley.
Yeah.
It's aliens.
And I spent a lot of time visiting my boys over there at Aventura. Of course, this was my favorite. It's near and dear to my heart. I love aliens. I love UFOs. I love anything to do with that. So
Sure.
I thought they were going to be my boys from Dead Coconut last year. They were much smaller. So these are like the children, I guess. The children. But I liked this one a lot. I think it fit with the theming of Aventura. The UFOs were actually in the shape of Aventura, which I appreciated that little detail. And I think they fit in really well. I'm going for Christmas and I'm going to be sad that they're not there. They should have just put Santa hats on them.
Yeah, that would have been great.
That would have been cool.
Ash, did you get to see any of that at Aventura?
Yeah, I did.
Or no?
I got to
Oh,
see
you did?
it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. It was cool. I know a lot of people like sort of poo-poo on it because it's just like it's a photo op, but what I like the theming, that they try to keep constant with the resorts. And like, what more do you want? It's a photo op. They can't really do much else, can they, in the resort?
Exactly. And I love the fact that all of the resorts are doing something for
Right.
HHN. It doesn't matter if it's a photo op or whatever it is. Kudos. I like that. All right, so we're going to move on to the next resort. We have Cabana Bay. This has basically been for the past couple of years, if I'm not mistaken. So basically it was the Swizzle, was Mrs. Carver's farm again. So nothing really, I don't think anything changed off of that. It looked pretty much the same to me. I don't know about you guys. Maybe I missed. I don't know. Liz?
They added some more decor just to the main lobby. So previously it was just Swizzle. This year they got some general lobby decor.
Okay, cool. Ash, any thoughts about this? I mean, it's been the same, so.
Yeah, it's been the same. It's a small area, isn't it, that bar? But yeah, it's cool. It's nice little ambiance,
All right, moving on to Endless Summer. We at Surfside, we had the monstrous ocean creatures photo op with an Instagram filter. Pretty cool. Any thoughts?
I saw this one.
Anybody?
I didn't get to see this one, so.
I did not either.
I did see this one. It was fine. Just a photo op.
All right, fair enough. And then across the street at the other Endless Summer resort is Dockside. We had Sea Dwellers photo op with an AR filter. I did not get to see this one.
No, I didn't either.
I saw it very briefly.
Yeah.
I basically checked into the hotel, ran to Horror Nights, and then never saw the lobby again. So, yeah, it was cute. Just a little
right, cool.
swampy setting.
Yeah. All right, moving on to Portofino. We have the Carnival Graveyard type photo op. Thoughts?
Oh, I wish I would have seen this one.
This one looked really cool in pictures. I didn't make it
I
to
thought
any
this-
of the elite hotels, so
Yeah, I didn't go see it, but I actually saw pictures of it, and I thought this looked pretty cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then Hard Rock, we had the Horror Rock and Roll Zombie Band photo op. Can't go wrong, right,
I
Ash?
mean,
And Liz,
No.
yes, correct. Yeah.
Yeah, the microphone there.
theming.
You could pose with the microphone with the band behind you, the zombies. Did this? Yeah, I
And-
wish I would have got to see this one.
And for the last couple of years, Ash, you can correct me if I'm wrong, Hard Rock does their own Halloween Horror Nights themed merchandise. Has nothing to do usually with the event. It's just their own thing, rock, music, that kind of thing. And I always appreciate that.
Yeah, it's always on sale at. No, sorry, let me rephrase that. It's always on show at the cafe, but you can't buy it there. You have to go to the resort to buy it. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Moving on to Royal Pacific, we have the Plants Coming to Life. Anybody
I never
see
even
this?
saw a picture of this one.
I honestly did not either. I was just going to say, I
me-
don't know anything about this one.
To look that up.
It's like it's almost like a Venus flytrap
Okay.
Okay,
sort
that
of
makes
thing
sense then.
with skulls on it. Yeah.
What was the house? What was the house? that
Seeds
was-
of
Seeds?
Extinction.
Seeds of, yeah, that's it. It gives you those kind of vibes. And then finally, where I stayed was Sapphire Falls, was Gothic Manor. I really like this. They had the candelabras out, and they had it where it was like, obviously photo ops, where it was floating, so you could look like you were like, levitating the candelabra or whatever you're doing. So I kind of enjoyed that feel. So Did you? I know, Liz, you got to see it because you came over. Ash,
Yeah.
did you get to see? I'm assuming Ash, you did too, because obviously Knights at Strongwater. So
That's right.
yes,
I thought this one was the least effective just because of the space. Because it was just kind of shoved in the corner, and while the photo op was cool, everything else just looked out of place in the Sapphire lobby with the giant TV there.
Yeah.
This one was the least effective, I think.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, but that was it for the resorts. So now, dun 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 dun, we are going to finish this out with Liz taking us to the Dead Coconut Club.
All right, everyone get settled. I'll be talking for the next hour about, this is my TED Talk about Dead Coconut Club. No, so this was obviously, I think, a knock out of the park for them. Just everyone universally loved this theme, which was, I think, referred to as Vamp 88. So it was vampires at the club in the 80s, and on Fridays and Saturdays nights, you had actual vampires roaming around in character, representing various pop culture icons from the 80s. The playlist was fantastic. On Thursday nights, you had the sirens there performing every 45 minutes. And of course, the decor was just fantastic through the whole bottom level. Of course, the upper level, we had Blumhouse, which I think some people like more than me. So I'll let someone else talk about Blumhouse. But that bottom level, Dead Coconut, the vampires, it was just obviously my favorite part of the event. I was there far too many nights, and I want to go back, and I'm sad it's gone.
Yeah, I think the whole setup downstairs was fantastic. Then you went upstairs, and it was like, why did you do this? That is my only knock for Dead Coconut this year. I don't think there should have been two themes going on in the same.
Boy, did the general public love it, though.
I know, and and don't get me wrong, there were some great photo ops upstairs in the upstairs bar, but I don't know. To me, it just didn't make sense. You know, especially when you have, the whole vamp scene going on downstairs, you got the 80s music pumping, greatest playlist ever.
Oh,
honestly,
so good.
Liz put together a playlist, so now it's on my Spotify as well because it's just so damn good. But yeah, I think this is probably one of my favorite renditions of Dead Coconut over the last few years.
Yeah, I obviously 2 years ago, well, the Dead Coconut Revenge, I don't even remember the name of it anymore. Revenge of the Dead Coconut was my favorite just because of the aliens, but this one was just right there. Obviously, I think for theming and entertainment level, this one was better. I just love the vibe of the previous year. Plus, absolutely. The word got out this year because of the 80s theme. It was no longer our little secret for the fans. It was packed every single night. I was rope dropping. I was just going to
say, that's why Liz was rope dropping every single night that she was there.
I was rope dropping
to get that corner.
To make sure I got my seat. But I'm glad because that means they'll keep bringing it back. If people are there, if they're buying drinks, if they're hanging out, if they're loving the vampires as much as we were, that means they'll bring it back.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way they don't bring that back. I just like you said, the fans love going there. It's a great spot to go before you're going in. It's a great spot to hit while you're, if you're leaving early, you just want to hang out there. Yeah. It's a great place to hang. So, Ash, thoughts on that? On the Dead Coconut Club, my friend?
Yeah, just to echo what you guys said. What a triumph this was. Two shining spots of Halloween Horror Nights 33, Insidious, and the Dead Coconut Club. Honestly. Yep. Just amazing. If you know me, that playlist is just me to a T. We went from Madonna to Blondie to Billie Idol to Cyndi Lauper to Tears for Fears. It was just incredible. Absolutely loved it. The dancing was good. I did like going up to Blumhouse and checking out the photo ops and looking over the balcony to people dancing. It was just so good. The drinks were good. What was the mocktail called? Can you remember the name of the mocktail?
The one that I liked?
Oh, it was the best thing I've ever had.
Death by Ladola.
Death by Ladola. Oh my God, I did it twice. It was so good.
Well, I'm just curious, what was in that?
It was essentially a spicy margarita, but no tequila.
Okay.
That's by far the best drink they've had at Red Coconut in any of the events. I ordered it many times. It was just nice because most of the mocktails are super sugary, super sweet, lots of fruit juice. And this wasn't that at all. It was like a nice spicy margarita without the tequila because I don't like tequila. So it was perfect.
Same. I hate tequila.
Yeah. Same.
Man, and me and Ash went to go see Cyndi Lauper, so like it just gave me those vibes.
Oh, it was so good. Everybody loved it in there too.
I loved all the Easter eggs. They had a bunch of Easter eggs to the previous vampires that we've seen. So we Vamp 55, Vamp 85, Vamp 69. We saw all of those referenced. There was a sign that said, no sparkling. So a little reference to Twilight. The vending machine that had all the vampire snacks.
Oh, yeah.
And then I want to give a shout out to those performers that were playing the vamps because they were amazing and added so much to the club. I wish they'd been there more than just Friday and Saturday nights, because if they weren't performing, they were roaming around, they were interacting with you. We had great memories from just joking around with them, cracking jokes. I made a bracelet for the one that looked like Madonna early on. And the final weekend, I realized she was still wearing the bracelets. So in September, I gave her those bracelets. That's final awesome. Weekend, she was still wearing them. So it was just a really special memory of the event. And I really hope those performers get to come back and do more with Universal, with Red Coconut, because they made it.
For sure.
Also, Tim,
yes?
For crazy people like me and Gary who collect everything, Blumhouse did have the coasters, once a week too. So that was pretty. That was a nice little touch.
Yeah.
I know they were. Have you got one? Have you got a little sample? Oh, and we got.
There's one.
Coconut. There we go.
And we got.
Yep.
There we go. Black Phone.
I don't know if I have them all, but
Purge.
And then
what else do we need? Megan.
I don't know what else there was, but those are the four I have. I'm probably missing one more. So
I think there's one more missing. Yeah,
but yeah, I thought that was a great
cool touch.
That was a great touch. I agree. So
absolutely,
Liz, I'm so sorry that Dead Coconut is just not there all year round for you.
I'm very sad. I can't wait to see what they do next year.
Yeah.
I don't know how they live up to that because man, that's tough. We've talked about this during Dead Coconut at the end when we were trying to think of like what could they do next year. And I think it's very tough because the 80s is just universally loved. Like that music, everyone loves 80s music. And what other era can you just touch on the pop culture
100%.
Like that, where just everyone loves it? It's
100%.
very tough to recreate.
Yeah, agreed. Well, kids, we've done it. We have done another episode, everybody. Congratulations. I mean, we're getting to the end of the year here. I think we might have one more episode before
We've got
the new
one more
year.
planned.
Yeah, we got one more planned. And then, before you know it, it'll be speculation season and whatever else. Well, hopefully we have some crazy things planned up.
Yeah.
We'll try and do some different things this coming year too. So, any last thoughts before we get out of here, guys? Ash?
No, I think we've covered everything. Probably later we'll say, "Oh, we should have talked about that. We should have talked about that." But for now, I think we covered what we needed to.
Fair. Liz, how about you?
I think Ash is glad to say goodbye to HHN33.
Bye.
Oh man,
not gonna miss you.
He's like, be done.
And I am too. I'm ready for HHN34.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was the closure I needed.
And Ash, because you're the gatekeeper of holiday movies, where can people find us at?
Oh, gosh. So we are at RIP Tour Podcast on Twitter, which is probably our most active. Same with Instagram. We're on YouTube, same handle. If you have been RIP Tour Podcast. Spreadshirt's the same. We do need to maybe talk about the Twitter. There's not much action going on there, in my opinion, in terms of maybe it's the time of year. Right, people are down for the holidays. Maybe it's just that, but we're on Discord. But if you do go to our Twitter, which is our most active, we'd have a link tree at the top. If you click on the link tree, it'll take you wherever you need to go.
I guess maybe we need to look into what's the other new one now? Blue Sky.
Blue Sky, yeah.
Blue
I think
Sky,
it's probably time. I think the ship is sinking.
It's you can tell.
I'm sure we will put that together soon, so we'll be on there as well. So, all right, thanks, Ash. Good job. You get a 9 out of 10 just because you're a holiday film gatekeeper.
Don't watch The Grinch in November and it will be okay.
Just shut your face.
Everyone watch the Santa Claus tonight.
Yes.
Don't do that.
Do it. And everybody watch. What's the other one that is a Christmas Eve one that he gets?
Home
pissed off
Alone,
about?
Christmas Eve.
Oh yeah,
Home Alone.
Home Alone right now. Everyone start watching right now.
You should not see Kevin McAllister until the 24th.
Can I watch Home Alone too?
Oh,
He's debating.
that's tough. That's tough actually, because if you're saving Home Alone for 24th, when do you watch number 2? Yeah, you can watch number 2 prior. Yeah, that's
I
fine.
love that I can watch movies afterwards beforehand. Thank you.
Yeah, just text me.
We always have to ask Ash, can I watch this today? No, you cannot watch that until at least Christmas Eve.
I can't laugh. I've
Anyway,
got a bad chest, but there you go.
let's get out of here. Guys, we'll talk to you guys soon, so bye!
Bye.